Today's Gita wisdom reading, I will specifically want to deal with the second chapter as we are going ahead. I am focusing today a little bit on a topic of great importance and value to all of us. It's about gratification coming from, happiness coming out of gratification. So I'd like you to, after offering our prayers, refer to those particular shloka 2.69 and 2.44. You can keep that ready and join me in prayers. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyapadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki Jai. I want to read today the shloka and purport of 2.44 and 2.69. They are short purports, and then we will try to reflect on them. I also want you to chant along with me these shlokas. These are part of the 108 shlokas that will be nice if you can learn them by heart, right? So I'm sure that you would like to do that along with me. Here we go, 2.44. If you've got it open, just a few seconds so you can keep that open in front of you. 1, 2, 3. Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam tayapa hrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhir samadhauna vidhiyate. Please try to chant it along with me. 1, 2, 3. Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam tayapa hrita chetasam Vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhau na vidhiyate. Once more. 1, 2, 3. Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam vyavasayatmika buddhi Great, wonderful. Right. The translation and purport go like this. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Purport. Samadhi means fixed mind. The Vedic dictionary, the Nirukti, says Samyag adhiyate asmin atma tattva yatatmayam. When the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is said to be in Samadhi. Samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment, not for those who are bewildered by such temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of material energy. Now let's move to 69, 2.69. They are both closely connected, so I thought we would do that together. Not 69. What is that? Oops.
Yani sarva bhutanam.
No, not that. Sorry, I think I got the wrong number. Yeah, 59, not 69, 59. 59. Have you got that? Okay, let's chant that also along. First, I'll chant it once, you hear, and then the second and third time, you chant along with me. Okay? Here I go. Text 59 from chapter 2. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Okay? Use this meter and try to chant along with me. 1, 2, 3. Vishaya
Vinivartante
Vinivartante
Niraharasya
Niraharasya
Dehinah
Dehinah
Rasavajjam
Rasavajjam
Rasopyasya
Rasopyasya
Param
Param
Drishtva
Drishtva
Nivartate.
Nivartate.
Param Drishtva
1, 2, 3. Vishaya
Ya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehinah
Rasavajjam
Rasavajjam Rasopyasya
Param
Param
Drishtva
Drishtva
Nivartate.
Thank you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. Purport: unless one is transcendently situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulations is something like restricting a diseased person from certain types of eatables. The patient, however, neither likes such restrictions nor persons who have no better knowledge. But one who has tasted the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna actually has the taste for Krishna consciousness. When one is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things. Right. You see, both of these things have got to do with our senses and sense objects. We have studied nicely what it means to live inside this body, to be existing inside this body. We are existing inside this body, and this body has many different types of parts and faculties, and there is operation, very complex operation going on. What is being explained is certain aspects of the operation, which is very important and vital to us. Here it is mentioned that Tayapa Hritachetasam Vyavasatmika Samadhu na Vidiyate. For a person who's somehow or the other focused on gratification of the senses, samadhi or fixedness in spiritual life is very difficult to occur. That's the first thing that we read. Because that is the way this body is made. That is the way the software inside runs. That's the way this machine works. So a deep hint is being given to us. We may not like this very much, actually. Most people will not like it. Because some of the greatest impetus that we have for going on in this world is the little enjoyment we get through our senses. Some good food, a good sexual partner, fame, recognition, good pay, good material enjoyment, good position. These are all things that are very important for us. In fact, this is what life is about. It's all about enjoying materially. If not, why will we all be doing anything that we are doing? Our motivation for doing things is coming because there are various types of enjoyments, from the gross to the very subtle. Somebody gross enjoyment, eating very good food, maybe gross enjoyment. Having sexual pleasure with a partner of yours is a gross enjoyment. Then for those who have become a little older and they cannot do these things, their physical body, their organs, their digestive system and all that have actually gone weak. For them, although they may not be able to have gross enjoyment, they are after subtle enjoyment, name, fame, adoration. All these things they will work for. They want that enjoyment on the subtle level much. So the impetus for going on in life is based on these things. If you remove all these things, we might as well go and be a robot without any feeling, without any purpose. So the idea is that the material purpose of life is sense gratification. But you look at it, over a period of time, you have to stop it. As you grow old, you can't enjoy so much. And gradually your senses lose their strength and your body withers away and your desire is there, but you're not able to enjoy. Something is wrong with the mechanism. See? So Shankaracharya has mentioned this very nicely in his sayings. You see, he's saying that you're growing older.
Nanda.
Hello, maybe I should mute everybody. You're growing older, no doubt. You have become bald-headed. Your hair has fallen off. See, Vriddho yati grihitva dandam tadapi na munchati asha pindam. You cannot bite your food properly because your molars and your dentures are all falling off. Your hair is also fallen off, become bald. And you need a stick, grihitva dandam. All these things are happening to you, but one thing is not decreased. Tadapi na munchati asha pindam. The desire in the heart, that has not melted even one bit. Not melted even one bit. It is fully active. Tadapi na munchati asha pindam. So our desire for enjoyment is so strong. And that's what life is all about. And who does not like to enjoy? Everybody wants to enjoy. Right from Indra to Indra Gopa, it is mentioned. Everybody has their exploits for enjoyment, and it is definitely good. The only point is, this is temporary, and there is a lot of disturbance in between. There are envious people who don't like you enjoying. Your body withers away, your senses wither away. You have to work very hard to get enjoyment, and the whole life is around this. You have to make a lot of plans. You have to endeavor, and then your body fails, and so many things happen. It's a lot of work to do to enjoy. So, Bhagavad-gita is saying, why you are investing in this type of enjoyment which is temporary and giving you so much trouble? Why don't you invest in that enjoyment which is permanent, eternal, and a million and trillion times multiplied in experience? That is the proposal. The proposal is not that you should stop enjoyment. Proposal is not that you should stop enjoyment at all. Proposal is a better enjoyment. That's what we read in the second shloka. Rasovarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. A higher enjoyment, which will automatically make you lose interest in this lower enjoyment. That is the proposal. So keep this very clear. It is not that you are asked to stop sense enjoyment, but that you are asked to indulge in a greater sensual enjoyment, millions of times bigger, and giving you eternal enjoyment. So is this not a good proposal? Of course it is. All of us will act by it. I am in a small village. I studied somewhere in an engineering college, in so-and-so engineering college in Papambatti, somewhere in a village. From there, I studied in the town. And then somehow I managed to get into MTech somewhere in the IIT or somewhere NIT. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, I get to do my MS, or I get to do my PhD somewhere else in the Western world. And then from there, I get picked up into a big company. And I am settled in the US for the past 15 years. I know so many such people. And once in 4 years, I come to my village. I play football in the local street. Actually, I love football very much. I played for the college. And right in America, now I'm playing also for the university. I am a football player. But I will never think of coming back and playing football in that village. Now that I have tasted playing football in that place, in the fantastic fields and the grounds in the university, and the type of challenges I have, the type of opportunities I have, the type of experience I have, is nothing compared to playing football in the plain green fields with no goalposts, with nothing, but with just a make do, piece of a ball. Don't you think that this is a small type of scaled down enjoyment now? That I will never leave that, the US, and playing my football and working, having everything that I need. Will I leave all that and come here now? I will not. In fact, playing in the streets is a thrill for me sometime. Once in 4 years when I come, I like to go through that. That time I'm enjoying something else. Not exactly the playing in the fields, but memories and other things. For a brief time, I will do that for 15 minutes and that's it. This is the example of param drishtva nivartate. I have seen a higher scale of this enjoyment. Why will I now think back of coming here and doing this? Similarly, we all have the capacity as eternal spirit souls in our spiritual realm to enjoy spiritually the same things in a much, much, much better fashion. That is recommended in the Bhagavad-gita. Rasovarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Because material enjoyment, getting stuck with it again and again and being born again, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, is not really a good proposal if you understand who you are. But if you are in forgetfulness of yourself, you will go on, keep taking bodies of different types. And in every body, you have some type of sensual enjoyment. And that's what is exploited by everybody. Prabhupada gave us the example of how the forest hunter hunts the deer. The deer has got a weakness for good sound. So he plays the flute. As soon as he plays the flute, the deer stops stunned and its ears prick up like this. And it looks around here and there. It's very stunned by the flute. So as his friend is playing the flute, the hunter takes a shot at the deer because it is a clean sitting duck shot. Dead. Why? Because got attracted by the sound of music through the ears. Fishes, how they are baited and hooked. Fish has got a very strong sense in the tongue, sense of taste. It is keeping on opening its mouth and eating all sorts of things. Very weak tongue. As soon as he puts a worm in the hook, it goes and catches that. Blindly lunges forward and catches that, gets stuck in the hook, and it becomes a meal for the fisherman. So also in Kerala, if you come, I have personally seen this in a place called Bhudathankette in Kerala. They catch elephants there, wild elephants. They've got a female elephant tied to the tree, big solid tree. And next to that female elephant is a huge pit that is dug and covered by a straw mat and grass and everything. This elephant, which is in the heat, it looks at this nice young female elephant tied here and making sounds and rocking its head and everything. Very attractive in the night. It just walks in and falls into that pit. Just falls into that pit. And they leave it there for 2 days till it becomes weak enough that they lift it with a huge crane and a truck. And they have got him. He's chained. He lost his life because of his attraction for the female. He becomes permanently enslaved. So in this way, because of senses and attraction to sense objects in the material world, so much of living entities are trapped by small enjoyment, which is hardly consequential. So much of trouble for trying to enjoy. Prabhupada gave example of the donkey. The female donkey is being approached by the male donkey from the backside, and the female donkey gives a very strong kick right on the sensitive portion of the nose and is extremely hurt and suffers in great pain. After some time, when the pain has gone down, it again comes for courting the female, and the female gives another kick in the same place. It's very, very painful again. And then the donkey just goes away very far off. And after 1 or 2 hours of forgetting it, again comes back. So we are always pushed by our senses to seek this material enjoyment. But if you look at it, it's not really so much beneficial, doesn't pay in a big way back to us. So Krishna is saying, Vishaya, the senses are tied to the sense objects. There is a contract between the eyes and beautiful forms, between the ears and the sense of hearing and wonderful sound, between the skin and the sense of touch, between the tongue and something nice to taste. The tongue is always looking for what to taste, what is there, something nice to eat. The eyes are always looking for something nice to see. The senses and the objects of the senses, tanmatras and the indriyas, they have got a contract, naturally putting together. So that is the conditioning. The senses directly move towards the sense objects. This is how it is designed. But an intelligent person, that's why it says, Nateshu Ramate Buddha. Person who has buddhi, buddhishali, he will not engage in these. Why? Because they are temporary. He has understood by experience and by reading Bhagavad-gita and speaking to such experienced people, I am not going to fall into this trap. I'm not going to fall into this trap. I am looking for higher enjoyment. This is useless, this investment. Therefore, I want to invest in a higher enjoyment. If you want a higher enjoyment, you have to practice some austerity. Just like children, they want to pass the exam in the school, in the 12th standard, in the 10th standard public exam. Then you are told you have to go for tuitions every day for 2-3 hours. You have to come back and study for 3-4 hours. No social media, no Facebook, no that, no this, no movies. And you agree to it. Yes. Why? Because at the end of that, I'm going to get a much bigger result. I'll get very good result. I get admitted in the best of colleges. Then I have all the time in the world to enjoy everything that I need. But now I must invest because I want something much higher. I want a greater result. So I'm willing to give up this instant gratification. Actually, they did this test, this famous test in Stanford, done by Miller's, I forget his name, Miller, I think, who did the marshmallow experiment. I don't know, in America, you have this nice sweet to eat called marshmallow. I have not eaten it, but I've seen it. And they did an experiment with very youngsters, young kids. They were under camera observance. And the psychologist comes and tells that child, I'm giving you this one marshmallow. And immediately the child looks at it and becomes very interested. And he says, wait, don't do anything now. Then he takes his hand away and said, I will come back a little later. If you're not eating this and if you preserve it for later, it's very good for you. Because if you don't eat this and keep it for later, I'll come back and give you one more. But you can do what you want. If you eat it off now, you will not get the other one. You can do what you feel is best. If I come back and see and talk to you and I see that you're still keeping this, I will give you another one and you can eat both together. Or if you eat this now, if you want to, you can eat, but you will not get the other one. In this way, they did a test on so many small kids. And it's there on the YouTube, you can see it. It's very, very nice to watch these very young kids, how they're, trying to ward off the temptation to eat the marshmallow. And they're sitting in front of it and doing this and that, touching it, seeing it, and then even licking it, but not eating it. And then all of a sudden, one of the kids feels, I can't stand anymore, and he takes it and eats it. One or two of these kids just eat it. Others just hold it. And they've taken all this on camera very nicely. And then the psychologist come back and said, oh, you did not eat it. They said, no, I didn't. And then he gives another marshmallow. And she eats both together. They did this experiment, and 13 years later, they followed the same students in their career. And they found that those students who were able to withstand their temptation to eat it, in other words, they titled it as delayed gratification. They're able to delay their gratification and control themselves. They found those students to perform very well in studies in the university, and they were coming out in flying colors. But those who could not resist themselves and immediately ate it are persons who never performed well in academics or in life in otherwise, but were just about average. So this is something that many people have done these experiments in many different ways. Delaying instant gratification, which they talk about even in social media now. Your desire to instantly pick it up and see the video and click it with your swipe of your finger and do that. If you can just hold it, keep it aside, do those things that you're supposed to do first, you better perform better. So these are a lot of psychological experiments also done. So you get a much better result at the end of it. Therefore, it is worth trying it out. And these are experiments proven today in psychology. And many, many people have done many such experiments for this whole, 50 to 100 years, and shown that by delaying gratification, you actually are in a much better position. You're better in control of yourself. But in this world, there is no dam, there's no check on what you want to do, how you want to do, when you want to enjoy. Many of them are like animals. Instantly, whatever I want to do, I do. This is animal life. This will not lead you to higher enjoyment. It will only push you down further and further. And maybe what your existing enjoyment also will disappear. So it says, Nateshu Ramate Buddha. Intelligent fellow knows, I want to increase my enjoyment. I want to go to higher levels of enjoyment. Therefore, I will invest in it by some austerity. I should not, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. No problem. No problem. I'll do that because I'll get at the end of it much better strength, better quality of life. And at the end of my life, I am promised greater enjoyment and higher position and status. So it makes sense to think about this carefully. Not that you're simply being asked by Bhagavad-gita to stop your enjoyment and suffer unnecessary austerity, grow thin, and perform some dry austerity. We don't do that. In Bhakti Yoga especially, it's not that we eat good food offered to the Lord. We enjoy eating nice prasadam. But we would never go out and eat anything where people have not cooked it and offered it to the Lord in a proper way. When we are shown food that is not offered, we just don't even look at it. We are on a much higher, sophisticated way of enjoying the tongue. We eat only Krishna Prasad. And we make the best of food and offer it to the Lord in love and devotion. And we accept it together. And there is plenty for everybody to eat. In this way, it's not a great austerity. The simple austerity is don't eat food that is not offered to the Lord. Because it is karma. So I won't eat. So in what way is my enjoyment lessened? It's not lessened in any way. In fact, it's become even better. I travel in the world, everywhere I go, I eat all sorts of amazing foods. Devotees offer according to the land they are in. And there's a huge amount of things that you can eat. So I don't think it's an austerity for me not to eat certain types of food that's not offered, that's all. So you will find that in Bhakti Yoga, these things are not really very difficult to do. It's not really very difficult to do, okay? So Krishna is advising that if you do this, first of all, he's speaking about how Nateshu Ramate Buddha. He's saying that it always lands up with some misery when you do this uncontrolled gratification. It lands up in some type of misery for you. And it's not really very, beneficial, right? So the outcome, finally, is that I am, if at all, changing my plan. That change is sometimes a little difficult. But once you change and become used to the new normal, like the new type of a lifestyle for a bhakti yogi, then you are very well settled in that. And life becomes easy and the lifestyle is normal. So Krishna is explaining here that higher taste should be cultivated. And what is that higher taste? I don't eat food offered in the restaurant by some useless cook from somewhere I don't know. I am going to eat food only cooked by a devotee with love and devotion. That is higher taste. I can give up the lower taste very easily because by eating prasadam, I'm getting higher consciousness. I relish the food tasted by Krishna. It's very healthy and in many ways it benefits me. So therefore, that's a natural choice for me. Rasovarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. A higher taste. In this way, our life gets enriched, moved up higher. Why will we not do that? Why will we not do that? That's why the lives of many great personalities we can see how it changed because of being exposed to a higher taste. Because it requires a little bit of intelligence to change this program inside, change this conditioning, change this habit, and get used to something new. A little discipline. That's what is called sadhana. A little discipline. If you practice it for a little time, you will see it's okay. It's comfortable. And you get used to the new situation. And you are promised a higher taste. So, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina. A person can also artificially try to renounce. Sometimes there are people who claim to be persons who are very renounced. I don't eat anything. I don't eat that, don't eat this, I don't do this, I don't do that. And it seems very unnatural. Because it's mentioned here, it is not possible to give up these things unless you have a substitute higher taste. And if you don't have the higher taste of Krishna consciousness, nothing else can substitute it. And Prabhupada is giving the wonderful example of Vishwamitra Muni. Vishwamitra Muni, you know the story with the Vashishta, he had a lot of problems and then he wanted to become Brahma Rishi. He actually came to Vashishta's ashrama with his soldiers as a king, Vishwamitra, and he saw that Vashishta has got a cow, Kamadhenu, Nandini. She produced all the food the entire army wanted, and she gave all the supplies. So he became very fascinated. He said, I'm a king, even I don't have this opulence. And then he told him, give me the cow. Then he said, no, my cow, I don't use it for all these things. I use it for milk and I get ghee and I do my yajna. I'm a Brahmana. I need to do this yajna. I need the cow. I use the cow only for that. She is not regularly doing this. Sometimes, persons like you come and I want to honor you. You're the king. You're the emperor. So it's my duty to do that as a grihastha. So I'm doing it. So he said, never mind, you give me this. Then he forcefully tried to take that cow. And from the udder of that cow came a whole army. A whole army came out and defeated Vishwamitra Muni's army and said, don't remove me from here. I am very much want to be here with Vashishta. He got insulted like nothing. He said, what is the use of being a king? I must be like him. I should have this higher powers. And so he did tapasya. He did so much tapasya. And in his tapasya, he did, Indra sent Menaka, all the apsaras, very beautiful looking, extremely wonderful. So when Vishwamitra Muni was doing his deep tapasya, austerity practicing, not eating, not doing this everything, there came this Menaka. Vishwamitra Muni didn't even open his eyes, but he could hear the ankle bells of Menaka. And in the mind he imagined, wow, this is a very sweet sound. It's the sound of the ankle bell of a beautiful lady. And he opened his eyes. Then he saw Menaka. She was so beautiful. His senses leaped out. Hungry, thirsty. So many days are over. I'm practicing austerity. Here comes Menaka. Boom! He jumped, leaped out of him. And Menaka and Vishwamitra Muni together, they had good sense gratification. This is how Shakuntala was born and all that. In the same way, you will see also another story in the Bhagavatam of Shaubhari Muni. Shaubhari Muni is a great tapasvi. He went underwater in the Yamuna, in the same place where Kaliya was subdued by Krishna. You know the many hooded snake Kaliya Nartanam, everybody does that dance also. Before Kaliya came there, Shaubhari Muni, he practiced austerity underwater in that particular Yamuna portion. Means he was such a yogi with mystic power, he was able to live underwater and do tapasya. No disturbance, he thought. Out in the land, there is too much of disturbance, human beings, animals, this, everything. I'm not able to focus. So he developed mystic power and was underwater doing tapasya for many, 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 many years. And one fine day, he opened his eyes and saw two fishes copulating in front of him. They were both having an intercourse. Two fishes. He looked at those fishes and suddenly he became very lusty. And he came out of the water. And he was covered with weeds and everything because so many years he has been there. And in this way, with that type of a body soaked in water, he went ahead and went to King Mandhata, who had 50 daughters. He went to him and said, my dear king, I am Shaubhari Muni. I have tremendous mystic powers. I want to marry your daughter. And he looked at Shaubhari Muni and said, my gosh, look at him. He looks like he's 2000 years old. He looks such a lousy body he's got. How will I be able to tell my daughters to marry him? Then he said, I will ask, I'll find. He said all sorts of funny reasons. So Shaubhari Muni was very smart. He understood. I think he's looking at me like this. And he's saying, who will marry you. So by his mystic power, he made himself look very handsome. Then he went and approached those 50 daughters himself. All of them came running to him and said, marry me, marry me, marry me. All his 50 daughters he married together. He married 50 of them together and had gratification to the max. And after some time of this, he thought and said, what have I done? Because he was a very intelligent person. All my life and all my effort is spoiled. 2 fishes came in front of me and killed my entire tapasya. Horrible. Now I am got stuck with 50 ladies and I am providing for them by my mystic power and I am having unlimited sensual enjoyment, but I am not at all happy. I did a foolish thing. So the story of Shaubari Muni, the story of Vishwamitra Muni is very nicely explained. And we can understand failure in some intelligent people's life where they had an accident in their spiritual life and then they came back. In South India, you will hear so many stories of great personalities like this. Last time I told you the story of Bilva Mangal Thakura, who chased that prostitute called Chintamani, and she advised him and he went to Vrindavana. Higher taste he got. Rasovarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So if you think a little bit and analyze, what am I doing? Where am I getting my enjoyment? Because we mechanically in a pattern do these things. Life after life we do because nobody comes and tells us these things. Stop it. There is higher enjoyment available to you. You are spirit soul. You're not this body. Enjoying matter through these senses is very low class enjoyment. There is higher class enjoyment available to you. In this way, even material enjoyment, our enjoyment is very low class. In the higher Swargaloka and all, the enjoyment is of very high nature. Very high nature. They use intoxicant called Somarasa. They have fantastic females. Rambha, Kilotama, Menaka, Urvashi, all sorts of, this thing. And they don't grow old. It seems the women never become pregnant till the last year of their life, so that their body is not spoiled. In this way, there are so many facilities. Garlands don't fade in the higher planets. And every woman has got a beautiful smell coming out of her skin. So many amazing facilities for sense enjoyment. That's why they forget Krishna, they forget spiritual life in the higher planets. And they desire, they come to Earth planet where the human beings are there, because there it is easy to, from there, become spiritually oriented. So these are all explanations given in the Bhagavatam, in the Puranas, and the stories are given. That's why Krishna is saying and proposing, why don't you try to enjoy by serving with your senses, Bhakti Yoga. Once you become attracted to Krishna, once you be attracted to his beauty, once you become attracted to the relationships you can have, then everything else will become pale, not worth having it at all. It's like Prabhupada gave example. In this material world, we are thinking that bamboo is sugar cane, and we are trying to chew it and try to get the taste because it looks like sugar cane. But the sugar cane is elsewhere. Real sugar cane that gives you juice, sugar, and so tasty. You're remembering that and you're biting this bamboo which is giving bitter juice. So this is not high-class enjoyment. That is mentioned in the Vedic literatures. Because in the higher planets, already in the material world, in higher levels, they're having better enjoyment. Then what Krishna is offering is even greater than what the demigods are enjoying in Swargaloka. As a soul, you can be Praharshayishyami Sanata Jivitam. Hrishyami means high enjoyment in the platform of the soul. Right? So that is offered by Krishna. So we must think about this very carefully. Use our intelligence and understand this, and refrain from unnecessary material enjoyment and invest in understanding the supreme absolute truth. understanding the instructions given in Bhagavad-gita. And in this way, gradually, we will make progress towards that higher taste. And then when we enjoy that higher taste, we will understand how cheap this enjoyment will be. Okay? So these two shlokas explain to us that sense gratification of the senses is not really some great enjoyment. In fact, it is a trap. The more we enjoy, the more we get entrapped. Just like the spider spreads its web and then the fly comes and sticks onto it. In my younger days, I heard a song by a singer called Engelbert Humperdinck. It's a song about the spider and the fly. Will you walk into my parlor, said the spider to the fly. It's the prettiest little parlor that you ever did espy. The way up to my parlor is up a winding stair. La 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 la. The spider is singing song to the fly and saying, have you come to my place, my parlor? It's so beautiful. Please come, step inside. See, it's got a nice staircase. It's got that, it's got this. It's wooing the fly to come and get stuck in the spider's web. And the fly listens to this and, wow, very attractive, very nice. All these things that you're saying must be very true. It's so nice, and goes and gets stuck. Then he cannot take his feet out. And the more he struggles, the more he gets wound up. The more he gets wound up, the more he gets trapped. And the spider has his meal. In this way, Prabhupada told us material nature is attracting us, attracting our senses through these wonderful shapes and forms. Advertising, billboards, social media, it all titillates our senses and we go inside and get stuck in it. And in this way, we are kept unable to experience a higher taste. Right? So we require intelligence. Nateshu ramate buddha. We have to analyze what we are doing, why we are doing, what we are getting, what we can get, who am I, what am I capable of doing and getting. All this, if we analyze through the Bhagavad-gita, we will be able to restrain ourselves from this and opt for the higher. Om Tat Sat, Hare Krishna. I will now stop here, and if there is any question that you have, I will try to answer them. Okay? Right. If you have a question to ask visibly, you can also ask and raise your digital hand. Then we'll try to help you. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Lakshmi. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
You can maybe
We are doing
1 minute.
16 rounds of
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. We are
Yes.
doing 16 rounds of chanting. But sometimes, though we have the willpower that we have to serve Krishna, automatically the mind goes towards Maya. So can you humbly give us some tips so that we completely stay focused in chanting, Maharaj? Hare
Very
Krishna.
interesting question, Lakshmi Mahalingam ji. Yeah, true. These temptations are there. It's not without any challenges, our attempt. What we normally say is that having association is very important. When we practice Krishna consciousness alone by ourselves, then we can get attacked by Maya very easily, especially when you're a sadhaka in the beginning stages. Your mind is not yet become firmly fixed. It's tender. It's called Komala Shraddha, tender faith. So at this time, it is always better to jointly chant along with somebody else, exchange your realizations with somebody, have your questions answered by somebody. In this way, it fortifies you. It actually makes you stronger deep inside, subtly. And your will and determination becomes stronger. by sticking to this rules and regulations, I eat only prasadam, I wake up in the morning, I worship the Lord, I chant Hare Krishna, I read Prabhupada's books. It's very nice. Once we get settled in that, we need something more to up ourselves notch higher. Association, more exposure to the philosophy, greater discussion, and taking up some service. Slowly, we need more of these things. Otherwise, we will actually be challenged in that level. So at every, it's like being on a treadmill. At every time, if you keep on at the same speed throughout, you won't find it very this thing. After some time, you have to increase the speed, increase the slope, and maybe do running faster, everything. Then only you can keep up in your interest. Otherwise, you become knocked down by some other diversion. In the same way, association is very important. Having discussions on Bhagavad-gita and the deeper philosophy, especially if you are an educated person who can read, who can think, and you have an independent, thoughtful mind, then we need input philosophically, and we need association, we need activities with people. This way, our chanting will be more deep, more focused, and we will get beneficially some gains from that. So you can check whether some of these things are missing and add those things. Belonging to a community, attending in a community, things, all these things give us energy, give us more strength. Right? I hope that helps you, Lakshmi Mahalingam ji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Pita Bas.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
Actually, this para-prakriti and apara-prakriti, what exactly they are, and how Krishna uses them to form the Maya.
Well, apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhime param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. So in that verse, Krishna is speaking about para-prakriti and apara-prakriti. That is one type of classification that Krishna is doing. He's saying that both the living entity who is conditioned and the material nature, both are actually prakriti for me. That is for Krishna. They are inferior to Krishna and they are controlled by Krishna. So he says both are prakriti. And out of these two, the living entity is superior. So he is called para prakriti. And apara prakriti is the material nature. So your question is, how is Maya being affected by using these two? Yes. One is the willing candidate for being in Maya. One is the fly willing to get stuck in the spider's web. That is the conditioned soul, because sense gratification is offered. And the other prakriti is material nature, which is operating through matter and material energy and the three modes. And you have a stake in matter. You want material objects, you want sense objects to enjoy your senses. So in this way, both of you get stuck together like the spider's web and the fly. Each one wants something from each other. This is the arrangement, that material energy operating under Krishna, but Krishna is not getting involved in the nitty-gritty. Material energy operating from Krishna provides all these things. Karya karana kartritve hetur prakriti ruchyate. Everything that is provided, material causes, are all provided by material nature. Purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktritve hetur ruchyate. But the suffering and the enjoyment belong to the spirit soul, who is actually associating with this matter and material energy. So material energy is providing this like a supermarket, all sorts of wares and everything, and telling you, come invest, come invest. This is the material world. And you're investing your senses, and then you're getting entangled, and then you're struggling, and then still you're attached. Then again you're going, again you're, although it's giving you trouble, still you're addicted. And again you're going to it. This is para prakriti and apara prakriti's entanglement. This is how it is operating. This is explained by Krishna in the 13th chapter. You can read it some more. And to get liberated from that situation, you develop a higher taste. You understand who is Krishna, what is his beautiful nature, what are his qualities, how he is your father, how he is sending an invitation to you to come out of this, how you can develop a relationship with him, which is a very high class experience. And by doing more and more of that, you become disinterested in what Maya is offering. All right? I hope that helps you, Pitabas. Is he there? I hope that helps you, Pitabas. You're unmuted. Sorry.
Thank you.
I hope that helps you, Pitabas.
Thank you. Thank you, Lord.
Yes. So that's the philosophy of it. I know practicing it takes a little more stuff from inside us. So I'll stop here since there are no more questions, unless there is something here that I've not seen. Okay. Dr. Rajeshwari Somasundaram. We're all blessed to have you as your holiness and very blissful to always, etc. Permanently in Krishna consciousness, how life changes. I always get my answers from your, oh, that's not a question, this is a comment. Okay, thank you, Dr. Rajeshwari. I have been useful to you. I'm very happy to know that I am making some contribution that is valuable to you. Hari Bol and Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Have a great Sunday night rest and be ready for tomorrow morning to face your week with all your work and all the other duties that you have to do, depending on Krishna. Don't fail to chant Hare Krishna, read Bhagavad-gita, and remain in Krishna consciousness. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Hare